My name is Sylwia Brzezinska. I'm an attorney at law, and I'm a lawyer from Kids in Need of Defense who represent children in migrant procedures. In Polish system law, child is always protected by someone adult, and only adult represent the best interest of child. And when we have cases like migrant children who cross border without any parent, without any legal guardian, they are alone. That's why it's so important to be their voice. My first step is to give as much information as I can in simple way and in child-friendly way about their situation, about procedures, about their rights, what can they do, what can they don't. It's important to give them information. Something is illegal in Poland and something is good for them. So they will decide what to do with this information, but I'm giving them a chance to decide. When this child will know about their rights, he will be more protected because knowledge is a weapon and a shield at the same time. Those kids are victims of violation their rights, not only in a legal way, but also in this real life. They experience a huge trauma in their origin country. They experienced a lot of very drastic situation in their way from their origin country to Poland. A lot of those kids are put in danger. The risk of being human trafficking a victim is much more higher than in other cases. So it's so important to train lawyers to support those kids.
I'm Todd Reliev from Sofia, Bulgaria. I'm attorney at law. I'm working in the field of the migration and the refugees. In Bulgaria, unaccompanied minors cannot be detained in any case because it's forbidden by the law. If the child is not unaccompanied, if it's with a parent or some kind of a legal guardian who's responsible for that child, they might be detained for the purpose of their returning procedures, but for not more than 3 months. Bulgarian detention centers are horrible. Sometimes our clients, no matter if they're minors or an adult, are asking, could you help me to be replaced in a prison or jail? Because I've heard that the conditions there are much better than those here in the detention center. Even a very short period in detention impact their psychic in a really negative way. When we're talking about children, we're not talking about only people who are in their border age, like 17 and soon to be as an adult. We're also talking about really young children. Sometimes they don't even turn 10 or something. I remember is that the another child, he was coming to the meeting and he was always like he does not even notice our presence in the room. He was looking through us. All of a sudden he was crying. After this he was silent again. It was really horrible.
My name is Zuzana Pavelkova and I work as a lawyer for Organization for Aid to Refugees, OPU, based in the Czech Republic. Migrant children with their families can be detained in closed immigration detention centers for up to 90 days. There is no lower age limit. This means that even babies, even toddlers, even preschoolers can be detained. It's decided by the foreign police, and there is no automatic court oversight. So in order to have a court review, the migrant children and their families, they always have to find a lawyer who will file a petition on their behalf. Additionally, they are required to pay for the detention about 10 euros per day. In the law, we have something which is called alternatives to detention, meaning that, for example, the family could be placed in an open center and simply report to the police regularly, but these alternatives are not used in practice. In 2020, I met in the detention center a young boy from Iraq who was detained because the police didn't trust him that he was a minor. The police ran a bone scan, and the police concluded that he was lying when he was saying he was a minor. We brought his case to the Constitutional Court and won, and the Constitutional Court said very clearly that age assessment cannot be done only with bone scans because these are not reliable, but there needs to be some alternative measurements. For example, an interview with a psychologist or looking into the documents that the minor is able to actually bring forward. So this boy was eventually released, and today he's working. He's really, I would say, built up a new life for himself. We know from different international studies that immigration detention pretty much always has a negative impact on the mental health of the child. In the case of the teenage boy from Iraq, he would sometimes come to the counseling and start with a few words that he learned in Czech, and then immediately go into suicidal thoughts and saying that he cannot stay there any longer, and being very depressed about the whole situation, about the fact that he cannot leave. Look at migrant children first as children and only then as migrants. They have a right to, a happy childhood, a childhood where they can be free and really become part of our societies.
I'm Dorina. I am a lawyer, member of the legal unit of the organization Greek Council for Refugees in Greece. Greece is in the border of Europe, and children arrive either with their parents, with their relatives, or alone, seeking asylum. People arriving in the Greek islands to apply for asylum are transferred with the responsibility of the police in one of the 5 hotspots which are in the Greek islands. In these closed control centers, there are specific fenced areas called safe zones, which is the place where unaccompanied minors are supposed to wait for the conclusion of the registration procedures in order to be transferred and placed in shelters for minors in mainland. Since 2021, there has been periods of time that the registration was very, very, very late, and children were actually under de facto detention until the conclusion of the registration for periods of time that exceeded the 2 months. Many harmful practices have been followed by the Greek authorities. Children lack basic services for children and live under truly inhuman conditions. The safe zones are understaffed. There is no proper access to psychological support, education, legal assistance, and everything which is absolutely basic. It's very important to prioritize the protection and to ensure the basic services such as education, medical exams in all stages of the examination of the asylum application, and safety and genuine protection to the children.